Yo guys, welcome back to another video. Sorry if most of you are expecting my Gamera Rebirth part 2 video to be next. I'm going to be filming that review later. Yes, it is the next video, since I've watched episode 3 and 4 now. However, I decided to also make another Godzilla video review, because I just felt like why not? Don't worry, Gamera Rebirth review will either come today or tomorrow. Or Wednesday, since I'm busy on Tuesdays. But, anyways, today we are going to be doing something quite unique. So we are going to be comparing two random Toho or MonsterVerse films from the Godzilla franchise and saying which one's better. And please subscribe before we start. And yeah, I was thinking about my Godzilla reviews, thinking, hang on, I haven't done something like this yet. This would be really nice. So yeah, here we are right now. Some of the debates I make might be quite obvious on which one I prefer, but I could still add reasonings if I liked. So the ultimate showdown, and in the ending, the last debate I'm making is going to be a bonus one. I'm not going to tell you yet, the two Godzilla films I'm debating, they're going to be secret. Anyways, first up, we've got Godzilla, the original film, versus Godzilla 2000. So you know something? Godzilla 1954, Return of Godzilla 1984, Zilla 1998, and Godzilla 2000 all have something in common, and Godzilla 2014. They all seem to be movies where it reintroduces Godzilla again, and it's mainly just Godzilla in the film. And for Godzilla 2014 and Godzilla 2000, Godzilla 2000 and Godzilla 2014 were special in one way. Out of all the ones they just mentioned, they're the only ones that contain spare kaijus. Godzilla 2000 also has kaijus named Millennium and Orga, while G14 contains the Mutos. And as much as I find, since most Godzilla comeback films, from that start a new era, and Shin Godzilla 2, sorry, I forgot about that. All of them on there are mostly just Godzilla, but something I can appreciate about G2000 is the fact they actually decided to add a few other kaijus. Unfortunately, though, that doesn't really beat Godzilla's incredible story. So yeah, Godzilla's just Godzilla in the film. However, it does it super well. We got emotion. There are two versions. The American one's not as good as the Japanese one. But, I find Godzilla's design very underrated. It looks spooky. I love the black and white background since, as someone who loves classics, it feels nice. So yeah, I'd say Godzilla wins mid to low diff. I only added the medium part there because of, Godzilla 2000's special occasions. Anyways, next up we've got Burning Godzilla, Godzilla vs. Destroyer versus Godzilla 2014. This isn't even close. I do think Godzilla 2014 is really underrated. When it first released, it was the most overrated movie, but as soon as Godzilla vs. Kong joined in, every Monster vs. Godzilla, such as G19 and 21, were also special that everyone forgot Godzilla 2014 existed, which really sucks because they did make some unique spikes for G14. Not to mention, G14's probably the reason we got the incredible Godzilla -1 intro, because it was probably inspiration. But either way, though, Godzilla vs. Destroyer still slams in every single way. Destroyer is such a good threat. He looks cool, terrifying, poses the most threat. And not to mention, it contains the iconic scene where Burning Godzilla has his last roar and melts away, and when he explodes almost the entire planet. So yeah, Burning Godzilla, Godzilla vs. Destroyer wins low diff here. I will still have Godzilla 2014 marked as an underrated film. It can't beat Godzilla vs. Death though. That was one beastly film, I gotta tell you that. Everything about it's so top tier. The emotion, the characters, the kaijus, the villain, the protagonist, the antagonist, some of that's the same, but oh well. Now, this is probably a controversial one that I decided to compare. So I decided to compare Godzilla Raids Again the very unexpected sequel that contains Anguirus as Godzilla's first ever enemy against Godzilla Tokyo SOS with the iconic Kiryu Type 3, which also recently got added to Kaiju Universe. I'm going to tell you a fun fact right now. Kiryu is my second favourite kaiju of the entire franchise. And that's another reason to why I have a soft spot on Godzilla Tokyo SOS. Godzilla Tokyo SOS controversially used to be really high on my list. But I rewatched it thinking, nah, there are other movies that kind of slam it. But we got a really interesting characters. Yes, you heard me. I actually really like the main character of Godzilla Tokyo SOS, which is debatable. And Kiryu, who is my favourite Mechagodzilla. Kiryu Godzilla, who is the most underrated Godzilla and has the best Godzilla design. Yeah, I prefer his design to the possessed GMK Godzilla. Anyways, Godzilla Raids Again's underrated. It still feels classic. It's still got the black and white background. Anguirus feels special. Godzilla's still got that iconic scary look. And the characters are okay. However, it doesn't change anything. Tokyo SOS still wins with a mid-difficulty. Like, it's got some of the best parts, such as Kiryu, Godzilla. Well, my favourite designer Godzilla is, but yeah. Next up, we've got Godzilla against Mechagodzilla versus Godzilla vs. Mothra, the Heisei version. This is probably the toughest one we've got, not gonna lie. Yep. Controversially, I think out of all the debates I've made, this is the toughest one to pick from. Because both of them are honestly pretty underrated. I had a blast with Godzilla vs. Mothra. Seeing Godzilla on the screen a lot in this one was really nice. And Mothra and Batra, brothers and sisters, and the way Godzilla died, and just every scene is so underrated. I honestly had some fun with that film. Godzilla against Mechagodzilla, the prequel to Tokyo SOS. Honestly a bit better in my opinion, with the Type 2 version of Kiryu. I will admit, Type 2 Kiryu is not as interesting as Type 3. Like, Kiryu is just so iconic, but still. I'd say against Mechagodzilla wins high diff. It's got a cool main character, an epic fight, and overall, Kiryu is just so special. However, he hasn't got the as good look of a design as Kiryu Type 3. And Kiryu Type 3 also had that iconic thing in his eye, like the little scratch in his eye, or whatever it's called. And, yeah. Yet again, we got the cool Godzilla design, but yeah. Shin Godzilla vs. Kong. A lot of people would be thinking that I'm going to say Godzilla vs. Kong is better. But no, actually. The Reiwa era is the most underrated Godzilla era underneath the Millennium Godzilla era. You want to know why? Because the Reiwa era is already having some incredible startings. And just like Godzilla and Return of Godzilla, Shin Godzilla is like another opening to a new era with just Godzilla in it. I find Shin Godzilla's form super underrated. And why do people call Shin overrated? I was thinking the opposite. I thought Shin Godzilla was pretty underrated since everyone was focusing on Final Wars Godzilla, Legendary Godzilla, Heisei Godzilla, but yeah. The reason why I like Shin Godzilla so much better than Godzilla vs. Kong is the perfect story, the perfect experiment. Like, it just felt like the actors were actually being very serious, and that's what I like to hear. And Godzilla vs. Kong, don't get me wrong, I was so excited when I got to watch this for the first time, seeing a monkey and a lizard fight each other, because even when the film hadn't released yet, I was still thinking, like, back in 2018, come on, these two kaiju should fight. But they didn't till like later in 2021. But now it's just feeling quite overrated because some of the Heisei movies are so much better than GVK. I'm going to have to say Shin Godzilla wins this low to mid difficulty. Don't get me wrong though, both films are still good. Just as long as you realise that. I'm not hating on Godzilla vs. Kong, it's just a bit overrated, that's all. But I do have a blast with the fights. Like, Godzilla vs. Kong's in my top 10 favourite fights. However, it will be at 10th place. But yeah, I'd say Shin Godzilla's a film that needs more respect. Moving on to Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 1974 versus Godzilla King of the Monsters. Again, sorry Monsterverse fans, I am kind of debunking the MonsterVerse right now, but I do prefer Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla over Godzilla King of the Monsters. I will admit, though, Godzilla King of the Monsters has the better thumbnail, and if you don't know what I mean by that, I mean like the opening thingy, like that picture just right there. But yeah, I like Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. It's got some pretty interesting scenes that can actually creep me out a bit. Godzilla and Anguirus having a little fight. The addition of King Caesar, and most of all, the addition of Mecha G. That's what I respect about Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. The fact that we get to see Mecha G for the first time. And about Godzilla King of the Monsters, King Ghidorah, who was a fire villain, and Mothra's sacrifice, and Serizawa's sacrifice, and Thermo Godzilla. It's all really nice, don't get me wrong, it's just the Showa era, man. I just love all the goofiness that happens in the Showa Godzilla era. And because of that, Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla just has to win this mid-difficulty. I will go through my complaints of Godzilla King of the Monsters again. Like, I know I did in my recent review, but to those who haven't watched it, you can either watch it now or you can just watch here and I'll explain it again. So I am really disappointed with the character known as Emma Russell, who is very stupid in some scenes. And, like, the fact that she's the reason King Ghidorah had this epic showdown with Godzilla this whole time. And, I also think the antagonists, other than obviously King Ghidorah and Rodan, the human antagonists are just kind of bland. Like, this could have been very topped up with Godzilla vs. Destroyer if it just had the better cast. Because the final fight was done perfectly. And comparing it to the final fight of Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, maybe it's not quite as good. I have a soft spot on that underrated fight the 1974 Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla had. Like, the way Mechagodzilla got defeated was brutal. Godzilla getting attacked by Mechagodzilla throwing magnets at him. And King Caesar helping out. It was all incredible, all the action. It's kind of underrated. Because most people nowadays just go on about the fight that happened in Godzilla vs. Kong. I even went on to Google one day saying the Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 1974 fight scene image, and it still came with more images of the new 2021 Godzilla vs. Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla fight. It's basically Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla and King Caesar built with Kong instead. Anyways, guys, this is the bonus one I was talking about. I know they're not really movies, but I'm counting it anyways. We've got Godzilla Singular Point versus Godzilla the Planet Eater. And you'll be wondering why I decided to add this bonus. It's because of the new Gamera Rebirth. I decided to look back at Godzilla Ultima. I don't like it anywhere near as much, but still. Even though I found Godzilla Ultima quite boring at some times, and the fact that we barely saw him on the screen, and the fact that some scenes I just almost fell asleep in, I had a lot of fun with Jet Jaguar. Jet Jaguar from Singular Point, so underrated. He's kind of cute, not gonna lie. Yeah, you heard me. And we got Godzilla the Planet Eater. When I saw that thumbnail right there, I was so excited to see Godzilla fighting a void version of Ghidorah. However, I was still confused. Like, why does Ghidorah look like spaghetti? Like, can't he just have wings? I remember watching this YouTube animation where it recreates it, and it was actually better than the show itself. And Ghidorah at least had wings in that animation, and he looked overpowered. Like, that animation Ghidorah was actually probably stronger than Heisei Godzilla, Legendary Godzilla, Monster Zero, Mechagodzilla, and Kong all combined. That's how strong he was. I'm not gonna lie, I watched the animation on YouTube. I saw Godzilla fighting Void Ghidorah more than I actually watched the show itself. Because, yeah. But hey, I had one huge complaint about the Planet Eater, and that was the humans interrupting the fight. Like, yeah, I know I said that Ghidorah looked like spaghetti. I didn't think the fight would be as good anymore because he didn't have wings. But hey, I was still excited. I was still happy watching Godzilla F get destroyed and bitten. It looks so fun to look at. Just Godzilla of getting overpowered or beaten by Void Ghidorah, who is one of the only ones out there that can overpower him. Yeah, we just kept cutting to the humans. Like, why does the show think any person that views the show is going to care about the human bits? What do we come here for, guys? The fights and the kaijus, exactly. And Godzilla Singular Point had a cool final fight with not much interruption. Some okay characters, some unique and entertaining scenes, and not to mention the red mist is super cool. So yeah, that Godzilla Singular Point, no concept of death. I'm so sorry, Godzilla the Planet Eater, but I'm just telling the truth right now. But anyways, guys, ignore why it's got just ignore the fact that the Gamera photo I'm showing you right now is edited with stars all around it. I just decided to show it since I didn't know what picture to show you. Since usually when I'm going to say I'm going to end the video now, I don't have, I need to find a picture to put in front of it, but I didn't really know what to use, so I just picked that. But yeah, anyways, guys, thank you for watching today's video. Please subscribe to the channel to watch more reviews with me. Wait, no, watch my reviews. But anyways, I will see you in the next video. And you can tell me your opinions. Like, out of all the debates I've showed you today, you can comment down below what you would think of the debates and your explanations. Or you can make your own completely random debates. You can make your debates in order. Like, you could just do it from 1954 to 2021. So, from Godzilla 1954 to Godzilla Raids Again to Godzilla King of Monsters versus Godzilla vs. Kong. You could do the debates in order. Anyways, well, only if you want to, of course. But anyways, guys, I feel like that's where we're going to wrap it up today. Like I said, please subscribe to see more kaiju videos, and I'll see you next time.